Welcome back to Crazy Dave's Crew. I'm Laura, and you're watching Thursday Threads. So this is part 3 of our sweet pea block, and we have cut out all our scraps. We've made our block. We've quilted our block to the backing. Now we're going to start putting them together. So I have a nice stack of my finished blocks, quilted, both sides, and I have 2.5 inch strips of the yellow that we used for the center. The next thing we want to do is square these up. It's not the funnest part of the process, but it will make the next steps so much easier. And your finished product will look better. So it is part of that whole measure twice, cut once. Well, it's square them up, square them up, square them up. So let's do that. So I have one of my squares. And I'm wanting to, okay. So I'm going to square this up. I'm wanting it to be 9.5 inches. And again, my blocks are not perfect. I wish they were. That's something I need to really work on. And that's part of the reason why I tend to make things a little bit bigger than they're supposed to be, because I've noticed that this is an issue. And that's why I say you have to know how you sew. So if it is going to be 9.5 inches squared, that means from the center to here will be 4 1/4, 4 3/4. So that means from the center to the edge will be 4 3/4, and from the center to this edge is 4 3/4, and so on. So I am going to, so there's my 4 3/4 mark. And there it is there. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball that a little bit. Let's see. And there's 4 3/4. There's 4 3/4. And I do really like this board. It's good for small ones, it's good for big ones, and it's got an edge that will help sharpen your blade. You can find them down if you check in the description for our Amazon store. And you notice I'm a little off there, so let's see. So if we go 9.5 to 9.5, I have a little bit that I can take off there. I'm actually going to bring it over just a smidgen. Get that all evened up. And there's 4 3/4. There's 4 3/4. Down just a little. 4 3/4 and 4 3/4. And again, I'm kind of just eyeballing it, which if you know me, you know that's not me. But I have loosened up a lot. Let's just trim that. Trim the top. Alright, and there is our 9.5-ish. And if it's not perfect, I'm okay, because the next step is going to cover up some of the mistakes. So you can tell I'm a little off there and I'm a little off here. The center blocks seem to be my problem. Now here comes a part for you to make a decision. Do you want to do the sides first or the top and bottom first? However you do it, that's the way we're going to put them all together. But I am going to get, let's see, my strips. And I'm going to cut off the selvage. There it is. And I want this to be 9.5. And I may go over just a little bit, just because, again, I know me. And if you slip, there, take a little bit more off of that. And we are going to sew these down to the sides. And then we will measure and we'll cut the other pieces. You can pin this area if you want to. I'm not going to. By the way, I'm going to sew it to the back like this. Just straight across. Alright, so I did decide to pin. And we're just going to, using our piecing foot so we have a good 1/4 inch seam, keep this matched up. We're just going to sew this together. Well, I was having some trouble with my bobbin, so I did me a leader, and it looks like everything's fine. So let's give this a go. No, it's not like, okay. So we're just going to sew the yellow strip down to the quilted fabric. And I'm not sure what was going on, but I was having a lot of trouble. But when I did a couple test pieces, it all seemed fine. I think it just doesn't like the thickness. In which case, I'm going to change needles. Because if it's handling the 2 layers just fine, but it doesn't like the multiple layers, then we're going to assume that the needle needs to be changed. So, let me do that and I'll be right back. So I was having a lot of trouble. The needle was doing fine with 2 layers, because I did a leader and ender practice. It was doing fine, so I did change the needle because it was having trouble going through the layers. I'm going to do the other side. And let's see if this doesn't do better. There we go. When in doubt, change the needle. Now, I did have trouble threading it, so I actually took the needle back out again, threaded the needle, and then put it back onto the machine. Even all my little tricks were not working today. And because this is a blue one, I'm going to get one with the red backing. I'm going to do the same thing. Alright. So this one with the blue backing, I pressed down the sides, and now I've pinned another strip of the yellow to be across the top. And again, we're going to sew that down, and we'll continue putting on the yellow sashing on all 4 sides of each square. I know that really sounds weird. And by the way, if you are enjoying the videos, there is a little donate button down below. It may not seem like a lot, but you know, hey, Quilter Showcase this weekend is $2.99, so your donation could help me buy a yard of fabric, or maybe even a new tripod for this camera, which is driving me bonkers. In lieu of that, be sure to watch the videos, be sure to share them, like them, you know, let everybody know. That would be a wonderful way to help out. Oh, but between truck repairs and vet bills for a stray cat, which we are doing a GoFundMe for that. Yeah, it's getting a little stressful. But we are still good. I have all my family. Everyone's healthy. The kids are deciding whether they want to go back to school or not this fall. Let's see. My infusions are really going well. Except I always seem to get a urinary tract infection. So that's something we got to talk about. Because what it is, I've got too much immune, so they have to lower it. Alright. Well, you guys don't want to see me sewing these, so let me do that, and I'll come back and show you what we're going to do next. We'll be right back. Alright. Now the next step, I'm going to put on a different foot. I know, shocking. I use this one, the piecing foot, pretty much exclusively. I can use it in the guides, you know. And what I'm going to do, I have this little container. There's a whole bunch of these in a bigger container. I know me, I'm going to lose it. If I just lay it down, I will lose it, and then I'll have to order another one. And someday I'll find about 7 or 8 of these. But that's going to stop because I'm putting it in my container. I am changing foot. And I believe this is a zipper foot. I think. I'm not real versed with zippers, but I think that's a zipper foot. And I'm going to show you why we're going to change. There we go. Alright, so I've got my zipper foot on. My needle is in the center so that it's going to go down that hole that's right there. I've pressed my blocks. Now what I am going to do, I'm going to put them together. So I have a red back one. That's what it looks like. I think I'm going to be very pleased. I have a blue back. And I'm going to put them together. And I am going to pin. I want everything to line up perfectly. Or, this is me we're talking about. I want it to line up as best as I can. How's that? this pin. Yeah, because I like that being there. Now, the reason why we went to the zipper foot is so that we could sew right up next to our quilt block. So we are just going to use using our zipper foot, get our needle in there, and just follow along this side. Okay, let's do that. You can see I did another one. I like doing my leaders and enders. I feel like Jackie Elam from the movie, what is it, Rio Lobo, makes me feel better. Alright, so basically we're going to line up this one edge with the seam line there. And that is where our needle's going to go. I want this as even as possible. Now remember, easy does it. Slow and steady will win the race. Oh, my needle's about to get in the way, so we're just going to kind of pull that out. I guess if I had a flat one, it wouldn't. Just want to make sure everything gets in there right. And slow and steady. We're not in a race. I have found when I hurry, I end up having to frog, and that, you know, you wasted any time that you may have saved. And once you get kind of used to it, I let go of it there, I slipped. See? I always take time and adjust. And my needles, my pin head is going to get in the way, so I'm going to hang on to it. I'm going to pick that up so I can tell that we're on target. Thread broke. Yay! I get to rethread the needle. Alright. Well, let me do that and I'll get back with you. Alright. So, my thread broke. So, we are just going to kind of start them up here a little ways. And it broke. I was so close to being done. Huh. So let's just kind of stitch over. That ought to stay stitch everything. come back to the pressing and work table. So that is what our back is going to look like. Okay. Pressing. Okay. I can tell y'all are wondering what's next. This is fun. I'm going to take one side at a time. I'm going to fold this down right to the edge. And I'm going to press it. But we're not done. We're going to fold it again. And then we're going to stitch down this side. And we're going to do the same thing to this side. So all the way to the edge of our block. And it should be right about the same as our other side. Okay, so let's press that. And then we're going to lay that down. Sure it's all straight and not crinkledy. Now I am only going to sew from here to here. And there's a reason for that. Because when we go to do this side, it'll come down and I don't want a whole bunch of stitching there. So I'm only going to go from the edge to the edge and edge to the edge. Okay? Now comes the hard part. What stitch am I going to use along here? You can do the plain stitch. Just make sure you are right on the edge. You can do a little zigzag. So there's lots of choices, so that's one you're going to have to decide. And you can tell I've made a couple little mistakes right there that went over. But again, I'm not real worried because that's going to get hidden. Okay. And here where I'm not quite even, that's going to get hidden. And besides, in my opinion, I'll know, oh, it's not perfect, and that's okay. So now I need to decide what stitch. Well, before I start stitching on this, I think I want to practice on something that doesn't, you know, matter a whole lot. So I've got a piece here that, yeah, let's just do this side. It was too big of a mistake. But I saved it because you're always going to want to have something, you know. Alright, so ordinarily, I would go through and do everything that I needed to do with one foot, and then I'd go do everything I needed with the other foot, etc., etc. but I'm not ready to do that. So we are going to change on our feet. I'm going to go to a standard end foot. All right. So there we go. If I can get it on. There we go. Now, my machine has some pre-programmed things. There's a couple with flowers. So I think I want to try that. And I'm going to use the little center of the foot, you know, where there's a little hole. That is going to go right on the seam. And I have to punch in a number. Alright, 41. And this is a Brother CS5055. It's a Project Runway. It was on sale. And I know I like Brother. All my feet and everything are for Brother. And alright, so we're going to try this, see what we think. So I practiced a little bit on a piece of scrap and trying to decide which stitch I want to use for the sashing on each side. And I can do a plain stitch using the zipper foot so that it's right up next to the fold and the needle's in the left position. Okay, so that's what that one would look like. Or the standard foot and trying to do a flower. Now, obviously, this one is going to take a little bit longer. It's going to take up a little bit more thread. And of course, once you start, whatever you do on one, you've got to do on all of them. So I'm probably going to just go with the straight stitch for this time around, but especially for demonstration purposes. But I'd like to know your opinion. Should I do the straight stitch or the flower stitch? Which one do y'all like the best? Because I'm probably going to make this one again, this quilt. I'm really liking it. And maybe the next one I'll do the flower if y'all think so. And for that one I was just using the very center of the standard foot as a guide. Alright. But I need to put all my little tools away. I've rethreaded my machine again. Again, I had to take the needle out of the machine. Oh, I think, yeah, let's put the standard foot away. Let's get the zipper foot back out. So I think I'm just going to do that one. So I've got putting that back on, and I've got to remember to set it back to be on the left side. Finger pressing it down some more. Like I said, I am going to start where the block starts. So, if you can, I'm hoping you can see this. The zipper foot is right up next to the seam, and I've got it on my my needle is in the left position. I'm going to do a couple stitches, backtrack. Again, we're going to go nice and slow. I'm going to thread is there. There we go. And what I do like about this is it's right on the edge. So just remember, your feet have a lot of different uses, and you don't always have to use them for the purpose that they give. I am sure there are special feet for doing this, but why should I buy another foot when this one does it just fine? Slow and steady. Right up to the edge. Couple stay stitch. And this is where I wish I had an automatic knotter like I have on my other machine. Now on the upside, this is going to get covered up. So I can actually just do this, and then I will knot it right here, because I know that's going to get covered up. But I'm not going to be too worried, because it's going to be folded down and it will be included in that seam, and it's going to get seamed over. So now all I have to do is do this other side and then just keep adding. So there we go. And there's the back. So I kind of like it. Well, I will keep working on this, and we'll probably do one more episode where I at least talk about or show you the finished product. And we'll just kind of take it from there. I hope you're having a wonderful time sewing. I hope you have been inspired. I hope you've been encouraged. You've heard me talk about all the troubles and trials and tribulations I've had. But you know what? I've still got my sewing machine, and we are good to go. So don't forget to find us on Facebook at Sewing and Crocheting for Beginners. We love pictures, so send us those pictures. And if you like seeing bunnies and gardening things, then you can check out the Crazy D Ranch in Rabbitry. I believe he's lacking 547 subscribers to meet the 1,000 goal. So, if you don't mind, head on over there, watch a few of the videos, and subscribe. And again, if you want to really help me out, watch my videos, share them, like them, tell your friends they have to watch at least 2 of them every day. Just kidding, but it would be nice. Have a wonderful week. Have a great sewing weekend, and I will see you next time right here on Crazy Dave's Crew. Thanks for watching.